Okay,
Without
so
it.
we do have a quorum, so we're gonna, call the meeting to order. Did everybody have a chance to read over the minutes? And get a motion to approve the minutes?
Yep.
Motion, and can I get a second?
Second.
All right. We have all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. We have an approval of the minutes. And we don't really have any visitors. So we can move on to old business and our favorite topic, the streetscape project. So I think we will go to you, Sanand.
Since the last meeting, we actually received some some luminaire and light fixture comments from options from the consultant.
Okay.
So the county's consultant did this pro bono, and it is something that they would like this job, but they are not under contract yet. So we're at that stage, and I know we need to make a decision and get this executed. The decision is whether we would contract with this consultant or not to do this work.
And who
For
makes
us.
that decision? Is that city or is
Uh,
that the business district or?
In this case, it would be the city, because we would need to administer that project for the
Okay.
county. So the county also proposed an agreement, a maintenance agreement of how this should be run between them, grantor of the monies, and the city. And that outlines the city's responsibilities. The city is responsible for this project. They call this the project. I want to make sure that we define that well with the county because they have a larger project of their own. We're certainly not getting into this to manage that project
Right.
for them. But our project is the street lighting that needs to be incorporated into this project. And so for that, they hold us responsible, as well as when it's completed, they hold us responsible for the maintenance of those, in this case, the lights.
Okay.
So that agreement is something that they sent us, but it's not yet final because their legal department is looking into it. They said, to me, there's still some tweaks needed for it, and so we'll make that input to them as well.
Okay.
In this process. Well, it doesn't have to be a decision now, but what they're proposing is match the lights, the types of lights that exist on. I think as South Elm, we have some right outside the district or within the district, I think around the corner from the intersection.
Oh, over by the road, so down underneath the highway there.
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
plus in Old Orchard. And so those light fixtures, normally they would propose, they say, to match those so that maintenance is better, more efficient. We can keep one set of spare parts. We learn, we can learn a lot of different things, but it's easier if it's one time. However, they're saying that the district may prefer something different more to define the district. And so, hey, now you're in Crossroads, look at the lights, they're different.
Right. I think we agreed as a district last time though, that we were fine with having like to choose from 3 options or 4 options that were presented to us
Okay,
instead of, didn't that,
Mhm.
yeah, we don't, yeah,
okay.
we just want a streetscape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, no, that's great.
Yeah.
And then I know in our last meeting, we said light poles would be preferred on both sides of the street.
Yeah.
It may not be one across from the other. There is
Right,
a
but
staggered
staggered.
placement option as well.
And that means taking out the Amarin poles.
Yes, so we talked to Amarin about that. Amarin was very easy, surprisingly. They said, first of all, they would not charge us anything for it. And then they would also remove these in a very short turnaround, the lights.
Oh, nice.
And so, like they said, even like a few weeks, which is really pretty uncommon with Amarin. Yeah.
They like you.
I don't know. So, but this was not necessarily their project person. Normally, we can ask them to remove things out of the way in the public right of way because they're not in an easement there. They need to work with the agency having jurisdiction. So in this case, actually, it's the county that needs to ask for that. But in this case, I don't know if we can make the case that they need to be out of the way because it's just something that we prefer to do.
Mhm.
It's not like the road goes through there and the lights need to be out of the way or anything like that. But it looks like they are cooperating, so that's a good thing. And so they will be willing to do it. They might even, they actually said they might even let us use the circuit that is there still to feed our own power to our own lights. And so that may or may not be good. We don't know the condition of it. Sometimes the engineers don't prefer to use something existing, and so they prefer to start over. But one problem with that might be that if the circuit is there, either its abandonment or removal might be costly. And so if we can reuse it, that might be to our advantage here.
So I know that we had discussed in last meeting that we would like to choose the lights by May, or our target date to choose the type of light was May. So if the city approves something with this contract or whatever, will we be able to get a picture of those choices and then we can make the choice right then and there? Okay.
Yes, for sure. So what I can do is I can go back to them and let them know that we're good with this contract. Just one change from the last time is that we want them both sides of the street, and so because that will mean two conduit runs or maybe one run at crossings. I'm not sure how they're going to lay it out, but for them to know that in case that has a maybe an engineering consequence for the job. But outside of that, we already have a draft contract that we can execute with this consultant. Can get that to the county in a pretty quick turnaround. And then also our comments to the county on the maintenance agreements.
Okay, great.
Maintenance agreement is something that I have not opened to you yet because it's in draft form. It actually holds the city responsible for maintenance, so the district doesn't have any responsibilities out of that. And we do streetlight maintenance in other locations, so it's going to be pretty standard for us regardless. However, there might be other aspects to it, although they are not saying that yet. If the bump outs are planted, that maintenance responsibility will fall on us as well.
And that comes part of our budget.
That is the district's, yeah.
Yes.
So in that case, I will certainly bring it to you. It's not yet finalized. It's not, the bump outs planting is not even a part of the agreement so far, but I'll ask the question.
Okay. So we talked about this before, but it's kind of always, because this is never taken off. I just want to bring this up again. Between Jeff Sanders building and the Art of Entertainment is that Green Boulevard. Does everybody know what I'm talking about? Okay. And on there is a large black concrete block. That's kind of set off. Okay. That used to be the sign to Louis IX restaurant. And when we did this a long time ago, and we really assessed everything quite in depth, it's my understanding that there is live electricity to that. So I just wanted to bring that up again.
Oh, yeah.
Did
you know that?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay.
And I think when we investigated it last time, and Fran, you can correct me if I'm
Yes,
wrong.
that's true. That's why they didn't touch it.
It's never touched because there's live electricity, but it was my understanding last time that the actual property itself belongs to Art of Entertaining.
Yeah, because it's almost to the
Yes.
edge where the sidewalk is. That's
And
as close
so
to the street.
I
it
just
is.
want to bring that because there's
Yes.
live
Yeah,
electricity to
that's-
that thing.
Good to know, right?
Yeah.
The electricity
It
is,
needs to be abandoned in this case, or
Well,
will it
you know,
be reused?
it's not being used.
Okay.
It has not been used.
It's not in any shape to be able to be
No.
used.
Okay.
But I just know that there's live electricity.
There can
Live electricity kind of worries me. It's not
right,
accounted for.
no, for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you very much.
So,
for that.
but we brought it to the property owner's attention because the last time we discussed it in detail, it was determined that it's actually the property owner's responsibility I don't know that to be true or not to be true, so I'm not weighing in on that either way, but it has been brought to that person's attention, so I don't know. I'm just letting you
That's
know
good to
there's
know,
live
yes,
electricity there.
yes. And even with the new power to the location, I'm sure Ameren would put it on us, hey, you need to have a meter, you need to have a specific power source for that. And so we need to kind of consolidate whatever is on there, and so know for sure there's this power and whatever other power sources in the area. And as you know, in other districts, I have dealt with this before. There could be power from the lights, provided from the lights. There could be receptacles on the lights. There was some people liked it, some people did not necessarily, because anyone could tap into it and get power also. What would they do with that in the middle of the street? I don't know. But sometimes like festoon lighting and stuff, the businesses wanted it.
Mhm.
And so we can have receptacles. They can be on the top of the pole to limit access. And so those would be other power sources in the area once this is developed. And some decisions to make in the design for sure, but I'll bring to their attention the existence of that potential power.
Yeah, it was even discussed a year ago when we talked about the original, the Cochrane thing, that it could even be in one of the right of the ways when they're trying to get the
Right.
sidewalk taken care of. That's how close it
I
is.
just know it's
Yeah.
always been an issue that's never been properly dealt
Okay.
with, so it tells me it's a bigger issue than, because it should have been done.
Nobody can just switch it off.
Right,
We're
right,
saying,
right.
yeah, got it.
Okay,
Before we move on, just
yeah.
one more thing about the streetscape project. Stephanie Streeter, who's the County Director of Public Works and Transportation, came to our April 1st council meeting just to talk a little bit about the projects in Webster generally. And I just wanted you to know she was briefed on this project and knew about this project, understands its priority. One of the things that we on council raised is the sorry shape of Big Ben between Crossroads and Old Orchard. And she promised to do some looking into that. And mostly I couched it as a safety issue because the sidewalk is so darn close to the street. So, I don't know if anything will come from that, but I just thought you all would like to know that it came up and was discussed. And she certainly, as director, is aware that this is a priority project for our city.
All right, on to Alma parking lot lighting update. The landscape lighting and the overhead lighting.
Yeah, so we are in the process of picking up the downlight and have it replaced. Well, in this case, installed back. And so there's some problems there to solve, but we're working on it. The overhead lighting, as I said, I think this is possible. The layout there is going to be conducive to be able to provide overhead lighting without impact to the residences around. But it's still going to be visible light. And so I don't know, maybe would it be good to approach the neighbors and say that this is proposed, what do they think? Or are they going to shoot it down real fast? I know that the light can be distributed as such from the western end of the lot toward east and light it up.
So lighted towards Alma,
Co-
away from
correct.
the,
Correct. We're not going to shine it onto the neighbors. But it's still going to be, one thing is that it shines upon them. The other thing is that they can see it. If they see it, they might still think that, hey, it's lit up and what's going on here. It's for safety. And so it's for the function of the lot. And so it's certainly functionally, we can do it. Sort of distribution there just to cover the lot from the center of it and shine toward Alma. and light up the lot that way.
I'm all for putting it there and seeking forgiveness. Because there's one neighbor.
Yeah.
Everybody else will be fine.
Okay,
There's just one.
okay.
Is there an ability to put a timer on it? I don't think anybody's around after, say, 11 midnight.
We can. Yeah, the bollard lights, I think, are dusk to dawn, and so they can still be on, but this light can be at a time of use.
If the decision is made to bring it to the neighbors, I think showing some kind of picture of, where the light will shine.
Yeah.
At least help, it'll still
Yeah.
be shut down, but at
It'll
least,
still be shut down.
at least, yeah, there's a chance.
Okay. Okay.
However you wanna do
But
it.
I think if you just approach them with here's what's gonna happen then.
Yeah.
They'll see.
And we would also do this in coordination with our planning and development department, because as a property owner there, we need to abide by the rules that
Right.
apply to everyone and let them know that this is our plan to see if they would have any comments. Something like this came up on the north side by Newport Avenue. There's a business area to the north of it, and there was a light shining from there. And the code enforcement was on it because the neighbor was complaining. We had to respond. And so we certainly don't want to create a situation like that somebody would complain to the city on the city.
Right, right. I'm sure it happens all the time. Okay. So for the overhead lighting then, if we present it to the neighbors, when and how do we do that?
I can get a light distribution schematic and then we can write to the neighbor.
Okay.
Yeah, just open up, maybe this is proposed. Would they want to come to our commission meeting to discuss it with us? I mean, I can offer that.
That sounds great.
Yep.
Okay. Our rooftop lighting estimate, I actually meet with Dan tomorrow at 2:00, so I will have that actual estimate for the May meeting. He's got all the information for all the properties in our district, and he is meeting with me tomorrow to give me that. And the commission report to council, I just submitted to Fran, and I'll give her a digital copy today. It's basically everything we discussed last visit. And so I'll be presenting that on May 6th to the mayor
And the council.
and the council. My favorite
Yay,
thing to do,
fun.
not,
Will be nice.
I know, you guys are nice to me. So mine's so short compared to everybody's. I'm like, whew. Okay. All right, let's move on to new business. Webster Bucks sponsorship. I don't have a clue.
I can share.
Okay.
You're all familiar with Webster Bucks, the gift certificates.
Mhm.
I'm not.
John is giving me,
Yeah, what is this?
as a business, you can be on the list to accept Webster Groves gift certificates. They're paper. People give them to you like cash.
Mhm.
You turn them into the city and get 100% reimbursed from them. There's no maintenance fee. It's interesting, Sylvie D's, somebody paid for something and they accepted it, but they didn't know what it was. And I get an email. I'm like, you said, yes, you're on the list. But people come to the city all the time and ask for sponsorships, trivia nights, all that kind of stuff. The decision was made that each commission can have one sponsorship of $100 that you could use for whatever kind of, maybe during one of the promotions that you guys decide to do or whatever, or not use it. But also an individual business could also request a sponsorship and pay, but they would pay 50%. So they'd have $100 gift certificate to use, and they pay the city $50. It's a small fund though. I think it's $2,500 if I'm not mistaken, and it's first come, first served. So when it's gone, it's gone. But it's brand new. It does flip over. It's fiscal year, So basically, the dollar will be started again, July 1st.
So how does a person get these?
Well, it's not something that's been publicized. It's only been talked about that I'm aware of at commission meetings. And so like one of the businesses in one of the other commissions has already requested something. So you just have to, there's no formal online process as of yet, at least that I'm aware of. And you send a request to the person that's designated to receive the request. I don't know who that is. Do you know?
What is what's the buy-in to being part of the sponsorship?
The district. So if you guys decided you wanted to do this and use it for whatever, a trick or treating and use it as a raffle or something to get whatever.
Like a giveaway.
I'll give you an
Right.
example, like employees, if we have like 10, 20, 30 years of service, the city typically gives out those certificates that off that person so they can use it at local businesses.
Okay.
So,
Oh, that's a good.
and our people
Yeah.
love it, just so we're clear.
So the impetus for this was a lot of commissions, boards were getting lots of requests for, can you give some Webster Bucks nights for this trivia night, or can you give some Webster Bucks for this? And there was no mechanism for us understanding who was giving what away. And so this is a way to assign a budget category to it, limit the amount that we do, and keep a record of where this is all going.
So like if I wanted Webster Bucks, I would come to the city and buy $100 certificate and then use it somewhere in Webster.
Mhm.
Then that business gets to keep $50 of that and they give $50 back to the city.
But when you purchased the gift certificate, you did have to come up with the money at that time.
Well, the person,
So we're conflating two things here, I
Yeah.
think.
I think you're right.
One is do you want to participate in giving away, so let's say trick or treating, you wanted to do a raffle basket for some charity. And you wanted to put $100 of Webster Bucks in there. The commission then has the power to say, hey, we want $100 of Webster Bucks to go to this particular thing, as long as we're still as a city under the 2,500. Do you agree with that
Yes,
interpretation?
I do.
The second part then,
Yes.
and a parallel part is you as an organization can get Webster Bucks out of your budget for less. And I assume that's in there in case we overspend or you all want to conserve how far you go with the Webster Bucks that you as a commission might want to buy.
Correct.
Is there any
But it's
kind of
also-
marketing enticement for that? I mean, is there like, for an organization, would they be listed in something, or is like?
They're listed on the city website. It's a whole list.
Okay.
Now, and the other thing, individuals can, I can just go buy gift certificates. And I did that when my son was still in school, and those were my teacher gifts. Because then they could spend it anywhere
Oh,
in
that's a good
Webster
idea.
Bucks.
so you wouldn't buy Webster Bucks.
Yeah, me personally.
Okay.
And it was actually really nice. It came in a really nice little presentation container. It was very well done.
It
And then
typically
I-
also comes with like a list of businesses, does it not?
Yes,
Except that-
it does. When an individual gets it. So, and it's a huge list.
And my last Webster Bucks question is, if somebody comes in with $100 gift certificate or Webster Bucks, and they
Yes.
only spend 25, are we giving 75 cash back? Or is it like taken off of is it like a swipe card or?
It's
No, there's
actual
no-
paper.
Yeah,
It
it's
comes
actual
in different
paper.
denominations.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
what like we've experienced is when people come in, I mean, people are spending hundreds of
Yeah.
dollars, so I've never had to refund anybody.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know how that would work. I guess you would have to write them back, I guess. I don't know.
Well, you're gonna turn in the paper
Yeah.
to get reimbursed. So to me, it would be.
Well, he's saying, yeah.
I guess it would just be like if they had a 50 and it was $48, we give them $2 back. And then
Yeah.
Right.
Mayor, can I ask you a
$2
question? I
Oh,
don't think
yeah.
you go over $20, is that correct? I think you're in $20.
Yeah, I think-
Yeah, I
I
can't
think that's the
remember,
right-
yeah.
Sure, I think the answer to your question, I
but-
think is, please, I'm sorry, that's my only experience with them, they're only $20 increments, so
Right.
You wouldn't have like
And
a
10, I think they have
Yeah.
10.
10 and 20.
10 and
Okay,
20, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not gonna be large
Okay.
amounts.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So there's not gonna be an actual $100
Yeah.
certificate.
And where do we go to say we would like to accept those?
As far as a business
As a
thing,
business.
it's real easy. It's on the website.
Okay.
When you basically when you got your business license
Mhm.
or your renewal, there's also check off. You want to participate.
Okay.
And it's
You may
really
be
easy to get
participating and you don't even
Right.
know it.
in
What else do?
getting reimbursed. Although quite a few businesses, they'll just take the money out of the paper money out of their till and then go spend it themselves instead of going through the process of getting reimbursed. They'll do it, they'll
Oh,
reimburse
interesting.
their drawer and then,
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've gotten like $20 and I never sent it in. I think I just threw them away. I was like, it's
you're
20
probably
bucks.
not alone.
I'm not gonna like fill out the paper and mail it to the city and
I
it's
think
for
that's why some of them
$20.
just pay themselves and then
Yeah.
take it
I
and
should have
spend it
kept them though
themselves.
and spent them. I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
I should have just kept them. Where exactly is that list on the website?
To the Explore Webster Groves page.
Is it
isn't
that?
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably needs updating.
Is that-
But we are just scheduled, I believe, for a fall entire website redesign, including the economic development parts of it, Explore Webster Groves, yeah.
Oh, here we go. Or it looked like that. That's pretty basic.
I will tell you, they're very popular with employees.
That's really, I never even thought about that. That's genius.
I
That's
know,
a good incentive.
I was given $100 of them and I sent them all on at restaurants. We did cash for the tips, so our staff is, taken care of, but my family, we really enjoy them, so.
Yeah, teachers do too.
Yeah, I can see that 100%, yes.
Okay, next up is our commission vacancy. If anybody has any ideas of anyone who wants to fill the commission vacancy, for Julia. I have talked to Betty from Betty's Books and she is interested, but not until she gets closer to getting everything moved down to our business district, so probably sometime in the fall.
She can't be on board.
She can't.
I'm friends with Holland. She can't.
I'm
Joking.
I'm like, don't
I
be
think
that.
she and Holland are friends too, so I,
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
I don't know.
LBD's owner might be interested, right?
Who?
LBD's
Oh,
owner,
Rachel.
or Jay or husband.
And do we have a BDC update? Anybody? I did not get
I
that.
have a question.
Sure.
They just had their business coffee last week. Did you? I know none of you went because I saw the list.
I was there.
You did. I'm curious if you didn't go because it was late notice finding out about it, you didn't know, or you didn't know about it, or you weren't interested in what the topic was. They had a speaker this time.
I was not able to attend because I was sick.
Well,
Yeah.
I was not able to attend either because I was sick, so. But I was just curious to get some feedback.
I've never gone to one, so, or actually, I have before, I posted them before, but it was like years ago, so I don't remember what they're like.
So the business development coffees are a little bit different than the chamber coffee.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we had a conflict between a chamber coffee and the business development coffee, and so we are not sure. I shouldn't say we. I am not sure what happened in terms of scheduling there. Tim Brinker, who's the vice president of governmental relations for St. Louis, not downtown St. Louis, Greater St. Louis Inc., was the speaker, and it was really good. I was sorry that more people were there. Just generally the climate of St. Louis economic development as it relates to what Jeff City is trying to do in terms of regulating our area and regulating business development. Yeah. And he's pretty new, so he also just wanted to introduce himself to business owners.
So
Just have like social stuff. But I would like my partner in all film to go, so I'll bring it up to him for the next one. I just didn't mention it, so I forgot.
What the BDC's intention is, they want to do 2 coffees a year. And those are in the morning. And they're typically informational coffees, they're not just social.
So they're not just networking.
No,
I think that's
no.
what I thought it
There's
was.
always something going on. Trying to do different things, share information, get input from various business owners. And one of them that was very popular, they had some laptops there because they were demonstrating the new Blue Dot directory. The other 2 times a year, they're jointly hosting a happy hour with the chamber, and that is strictly social. So you're talking 4 things that the BDC is trying to do to get more engagement, reach out, that sort of
Okay.
thing.
Good to know.
But so did you see the invitation? I guess is a good question. Because that's always what I'm concerned, that I've got good information
Yes, I did.
to send it out. Yeah.
Maybe the best feedback is how to distinguish between the networking of the chamber versus what
difference between the
BDC
two.
is trying to do, yeah.
Yeah, so you have a better decision as to where you want to put your time.
Mhm.
That's always my concern. Why should people come to this?
Right.
Cool.
I assumed they were all networking, so that's,
Yeah. me too.
That's excellent feedback.
Yeah.
So one other question for you. They started doing a monthly newsletter,
Mhm.
which tends to go out the end of the month.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if,
I actually like that.
You do like
I
that?
like that.
okay,
I like knowing what's going on with the business district.
cool. Excellent, thank you.
Okay, now we'll move on to city update. Officers here.
For those who are not aware, I'm assuming everybody here has met Chief Exodus. He is very energetic to the point of being like on caffeine ×5. He's very energetic in trying to engage community. One of the things he has spearheaded is the revitalization. We used to have a bicycle program. I used to be the commander of that. We're gonna go back 20 years ago. He has revitalized that. We currently have 6 bicycle officers who've been trained and 2 supervisors. So if you're gonna have an event, or if you'd like to see the bicycle officers present, please reach out to either Captain Weber or myself. I'm just filling in today for Chief Weimer, but again, reach out to any of us if you have an event or something you'd like to see us present at. We certainly can. Yeah. So
Let me add a couple of things if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Last night, just to piggyback on that, as part of Chief Acevez's presentation, we had a general budget night last night. So the entire city budget, all the departments presented. But one of the things that Chief Acevez really stressed was community engagement, and one of his priorities is making sure he's connected to businesses. There will be, my understanding, at every business commission meeting, a representative from the police department. Thank you for filling in this morning. And that certainly is a change from
It is, 100%.
expectation in the past. And so that's just one of his priority ways of connecting the department a little bit more to the community. We did approve the Betty's Book CUP last night, so that's finished. And I think, yeah, other than the budget, that was the only other thing I wanted to add.
Mayor, may I build off that?
Please do.
Thank you. One of the things that came up yesterday, we were talking with the Old Webster Commission. For those of you who do not know, we used to have a business liaison officer who would come to these meetings. The chief has, I like it. He's kind of dividing it up now. Instead of one person being responsible, he's dividing up amongst the command staff. But also, if you remember, we had an officer who was assigned to do traffic or parking enforcement. We're going from being drastically understaffed to now we're coming back. Chief Acevez has been aggressively hiring new people, and we're getting close. And one of the things that came from the business district yesterday was, hey, can you give us a heads up? In the past, as you know, we would do traffic or parking enforcement in those controlled zones. And they're like, some of their employees may be parking beyond the hours. Can we give them a heads up? Let them know when we're gonna begin enforcing that again? we're doing our best right now to enforce those things, but I will say that if you have some concerns, if you include myself or Chief Weimer or Captain Weber, on your email list, as soon as we have a designated traffic enforcement officer or parking enforcement officer, which will be coming shortly, so we can fill spots, we'll give you guys a heads up, just so you can let your staff know, hey, we're gonna start enforcing this again. Yeah, trying to do it now, but we're fighting with that limited staffing, so. But I know some of the businesses were concerned about, hey, can you give us a heads up that we're gonna start enforcing that again? We never stopped, it's just a matter of filling those slots. So if you give us a heads up or give us an email, we'll let you know we're gonna start doing that again.
Yeah, and just, you and I are just gonna ping pong.
Oh, we
back and
are,
forth.
yes.
It just reminds me, in terms of the presentation of the budget itself, the biggest change in our expenses is more than $500,000 in personnel costs that go with the police department. And this really is about the aggressive hiring. It's not that we haven't had those positions authorized before, we've had them authorized, but the chief has gotten really aggressive in going out and hiring us officers. So it's gonna put us in a little bit of a deficit for the proposed budget. I think that'll work itself out through the year. But it does, it demonstrates a commitment to making sure that we have fully staffed public safety, both in police and in fire.
Cannot hear more off the merit, 100%. It's not that we're not trying to, we need to fill the slots, you know.
I will reiterate the need to watch the westbound corner of Big Bend and Alma.
Ma'am, and to your point, we are, the chief has literally, as part of his projected staffing, wants to have traffic officers specifically assigned to, I would call hot spots that you just identified. So Assistant Chief Weimer kind of gives us areas or things that are feedback from the general public, and we try to focus on them. But as soon as we have traffic officers assigned or specifically identified, we'll be hitting those areas.
All right. Does anyone have anything else? All right, our next meeting is May 21st. We're gonna pick light poles.
I will not be here for that meeting, so I will be on vacation.
Okay.
But
That's
I
a
don't-
good reason not to.
Well, I don't know if you'll need me, just to set, if you do think you need me, if I'm in a place where I can do it, I can Zoom.
Yeah.
So just let me know.
I'll get in touch with you.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds great. All righty. All right, may I get a motion to adjourn
Second motion to adjourn.
and a second?
Second.
And all those in favor say aye.
All right.
All those opposed say nay. All right.
Didn't